Why is Steve Rogers living on the moon? The absence of Steve Rogers from the scene is one of the most controversial mysteries of MCU. We clearly saw him alive and probably healthy at the end of Endgame. He was old, probably weak, but still alive. Yet, in all future shows and movies, the characters are acting as if he died during the Battle of Thanos' army. So what happened? In the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, one of the side characters suggests that he's watching over Earth from a moon base. As insane as this sounds, it's one logical explanation for his absence. But I think there is more to the story than that. Before I share what I think, I feel that it is necessary to talk about time travel in MCU. The events of Endgame gave a clear explanation as in how time travel works in this fictional world. According to them, changing the past does not change the future. If you go back in your past, then the past becomes your present and your former present becomes your past. That cannot be changed by your new future. As sensible as this sounds, I feel the explanation is incomplete. When the Avengers went to get the Infinity Stones, they were simply going back to the past. But when Steve decided to return the stones, the situation had changed. Now he had to return the stones at the exact moment from where they took it. In order for that to be possible, in addition to going to the past, Steve must be able to navigate through the multiverse and return the stones to the exact universe from where they took it. This means he must have had the knowledge of navigating through the multiverse. This also means that he had the means to travel to the past of the main reality. At this time, you might say that if he is to stay there, then the timeline will again split, creating a new reality. But no. Changing the past does not change the future, but what if time accommodates all time travel changes in advance? Meaning, Steve was always meant to return to Peggy after the events of Endgame. All the future events happened considering that. This means that Steve has always been there, living in the shadows, hidden from the world. He was there when Steve was brought back from ice. He was old, but watching young Steve fight aliens, robots, and finally Thanos. The only way for him to do that is if he is witnessing all the events from far away, like from the base of the moon. That Nick Fury post-credit scene we saw in Far From Home, it was clear that the base was not on Earth. So it is very much possible that after the events of Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, with the help of Skrulls and their technology, they built a base on the moon and let old man Steve stay there until it was time for him to return with the shield. It's something we saw at the end of Endgame. To support my theory, I have a few points like we never saw who Peggy's husband was. When young Steve went to meet Peggy in the hospital, the photograph had her, the children, but not the husband. This was very strange. Another point being, Nick Fury trusts nobody, and yet he was quick to trust Steve Rogers during the events of Winter Soldier. Why? The only way that would be possible is if he knew Steve longer than we have seen. Finally, the Cap's shield. I don't understand why nobody talks about that. The last we saw in Endgame, Thanos broke it during the fight. After that, when Steve went to return the stones, he did not take the shield with him. Then where did Old Man Cap get the shield from if he simply came back to present using time travel? Also, I don't think it's a meaningless accident that this shield looks different from the previous one. I don't know how, but I hope we get an answer about that soon. Till then, I'll continue to strongly believe that old man Steve Rogers is indeed on the moon, watching over Earth.